So let's go ahead and start creating a user. Once you started working on application, so that first and foremost thing you need to understand here is user creation. Okay, all these parts like roles and importance and how to enable the offerings and application look and all, that is important to know. And first, how to create a user in the system. User can be created in multiple ways. One is from security console. Another one is from the manage users task. Another one is from HCM page, human capital management page. In general, in the real time, user creation activity can be done by the HCM team, human capital management team. As here, no one is available. For that reason, we are also going to do that. 70 to 75% of the cases that can be done by the HCM team, only 10-20% of the cases which we need to define the users directly in the system. Of course, employee users we never create, only like test users or maybe implementation users we are going to create in the system. Employee users that should come from the HCM team only. We never create any users directly in the system. That should come from the employee, like, the employee number, which that belongs to which business unit or which legal entity, who is the manager, what is the employee number, what is the position, what is the department. All these things will be taken care by the human capital management team as part of the user creation. Here, HCM team is not there. And also there are multiple ways, right, to create a user, out of which we are going to create one way, like from the security console, we are going to create the user. So here you can see this is how the application looks like once you logged in. Yesterday we have already seen that how to log in that and this home page, and this you can call it as a navigator. These are all different options which we have discussed about that. Let's go ahead and create the user now. So come here, tools, security console. This is the one which we are going to create a user to use this functionality. Basically, by using this security console under tools menu, the user creation can be done. Let's click on the security console. I will tell you why the security console is available for this user, and I will discuss about that. So here you can see the roles and users and analytics. Ignore about all these things, roles, and we are going to discuss about that. Click on this users. So let's go ahead and define the user. Let's say add user account. Add user account. Let's say A. A is generally recommendation why you are going to use the A is, if you create anything with A, that will come in the top. For that reason, I always prefer to create a users with A. Okay. And Q is nothing but quality thoughts user. You can give a naming convention like this. Okay. Whatever which are trying to define it here, same way you guys can go ahead and define for your practice also. Okay. So let's say gmail.com and you can enter the password. Where I can 1, 2, 3. Let's say save and close. See guys, this is a user which I am creating with AQT user, and this is the email ID and the username again, password. I'm just updating. I'm not assigning any roles because when it coming to the role assignment, once the role assignment is completed, it is going to be huge impact and all the privileges supposed to be added to the user. Just I'm creating a user just to see how it's going to behave before assigning the role. And we are going to see after assigning the role how it's going to behave, so that you guys can go ahead and understand before assigning the role how it is and after assigning the role how it is and what is the importance of the role assignment and all, so that you guys will get a clear idea on that. Let's say save and close. Okay, some password not matching. Let's try to enter it. Okay. Let's say save. Always password and confirm password should be matched. This is the user which I've created. Okay. What is the user which I've created? This is the user which I've created. This is a password which I've defined it for. User creation which is done. Okay. So now let's try. If you see here, when it coming to this particular user, this is a agent 6, which is one of the existing user which I am using for. If I click on here, I can see setup and maintenance. I can see. And all the privileges you can see, like, whenever you click on the navigator, I can see lot many privileges which are showing here. Okay, like example, like schedule process, all these different tasks which are available. Okay, because of the role assignments which are already done for this user, for that reason, I can see all those which are available. But when it coming to our user in the sense which we created, now let's try to log in with that user. You can see the changes, how it is showing in the system. Let's say Oracle 1, 2. Today we'll try to conclude all these things, whatever which we have highlighted here. Once it's completed, tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with the actual configuration process for the general ledger. This would be the your real-time configuration. Basically, from scratch, we are going to do that. These are some fundamentals which you have discussed so far yesterday, day before yesterday, and today. We'll try to conclude. This is also very important, should know. Once you get all this information, or once you get an idea on this information, so that you guys can go ahead and start doing your configuration, because everything is important. User creation, role assignment, and also you need to understand how would be the training approach and what different, like, what is premises and cloud, and what different options which are available, what is Oracle cloud for a product family, all these things. Everything is very, very important, guys. Maybe today you may not realize the importance of each and every area, but once you start working on the application, or once you start working in the real time, you guys will get to know the impact of all the points which are discussing today. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a user. User creation is done, right? So this is how the user creation is done. This is our user. I don't see any other tasks which are available. Here you can see, I see lot many. I mean, this only earlier case, lot many tasks which are available in earlier user. But here I don't see anything. And the tools also I see only 3 or 4. Because of, for this user, we have not assigned any roles to this user. In cloud, as I said yesterday, everything can be managed by the roles only. User creation is done until unless if the roles are not assigned, then there is no use of, or then it does not make any sense to create the user also. Until unless if the roles are assigned. Until unless if you don't provide the privileges, then there is no use of that. Okay, let's go ahead and assign the roles. How to do that? I cannot go ahead and do the role assignment for this user because I don't have any privileges, like security console is not available here. Why that is not available? Because this user is not assigned any roles. For that reason, this user is showing very, I mean, it's with very limited, just you can able to just log into the application. That's it. He cannot go ahead and perform, he or she cannot go ahead and perform anything because roles assignment, which is not done. What roles which we need to assign? There are 3 important roles. What are those roles? Application implementation consultant, IT security manager, as well as the employee to get some defaults. All this should be assigned to the user. Then only that user can go ahead and start doing the configuration. Okay, in our case, this is our user. Okay, so let's copy this user. So hoping that you guys are clear, you guys are following me, right? Any questions so far? Yeah, let's go ahead and assign the roles. What are the important roles which we need to assign? First, 3 roles which we need to assign it. One is application implementation consultant. Once I assign it to the user, the setup and maintenance activity is going to be added. This is going to be used to create or to perform any configuration. This is one of the powerful role related to configuration activity. If I don't assign this, user cannot go ahead and perform any configuration related activities. The name itself is indicating that application implementation consultant. So don't think that something which we need to write the queries and all. This Oracle, which is already well developed the application, we are gonna do the configuration based on our requirement. For that, here module wise configuration, which we need to do it for. We need to understand the requirement. We need to configure the application. That would be the role in real time. So let's go ahead and assign the roles. If I assign IT security manager, security console to be added. In case someone already worked in a EBS background, there is an activity called as IT administrator. Here they have added that as a security console. There is a difference you need to understand. Compare with EBS. In case someone is already worked on EBS, already you are having idea on EBS. Okay. Let's go ahead and assign the roles to our user. If I wanted to assign the roles to the user, I need to have a security console access. Until unless if I don't have a security console access, I cannot go ahead and assign the roles. From where we can go ahead and assign the roles. Let's go ahead and, I don't see anything. So what I can do, let's go ahead and log out from this user. Because this is a user which have created it without assigning the role. Just we have seen that how it is, affecting or how it is showing. Let's try to log in with different user who is having the privileges to add the roles and all. Okay. So time being, just I am logging with this user. I've created our user from the, because this user, why this user is having all the privileges, because of setup and maintenance is available because of this user already having assignment of this role. And also all the privileges are showing because of the employee role which is assigned. And also if you see to under tools, I can see security console because of assign the role. How can I know with this user really all these are available or not? So go to security console. Let's try to query this user particularly. Okay. Just to understand the importance of the role. Okay. Agent 6. This is the role. This is a user. Okay. You can see for this user, this role is assigned. IT security is assigned, employee is assigned. Of course, these are general ledger related things. Ignore about that. These three are all assigned. For that reason, user is having all the privileges. For our user, we wanted to assign, right? So what is our user? This is our user, right? Let's go ahead and copy the user. If you wanted to assign the role activities, and in case if you wanted to, deactivate this or log this user and all, you need to have a privileges to security console. How the security console is going to be accessed, that should be assigned. The role should be assigned to the user. Then only the security console privileges is going to be available. In our case, we are going to assign to our user and we'll see that. Okay. So I don't want to log this. Here we have option to log this, and also you can see here, you wanted to reset the password. You can go ahead and reset the password. Everything can be controlled from here. This is one of the way to create the user. Okay. Let's try to edit it. And let's say add role. What role I wanted to add it for? I wanted to add it for these three roles. Ensure there should be no spaces. Or else you want to type it also, you can go ahead and type it. No problem. Either you wanted to copy paste it. Application, implementation. Guys, this is come with the practice. Okay. So today I'm aware all the roles and all, because I'm done the enough practice and enough implementations. For that reason, I'm all these things remember. So when it comes to your case, you need to be, whenever you do your practice, try to make a notes, or whenever you're attending the session, try to make a notes, keep handy one notebook, so that it will be helpful to you. Okay. So recording will be available. Don't depend on recording everything. Okay. It's going to be time consuming activity. Better to try to understand in session. Maybe later find out time. Any questions which you have, you can go ahead and understand through refer the recording. Okay. See here, these three roles. Whenever you assign any roles, remember here, this role code should be available. For example, let's remove this. Okay, I wanted to remove this. Here we have an option to remove, we have an option to add also. Okay, for example, we want to remove this. Yes, you can simply remove. Or else we want to remove all roles at a time also. Yes, we have that kind of flexibility. Everything can be controlled, everything can be managed from the security console page. If you wanted to get a security console, you need to assign this role. Okay, let's go ahead and write it. Application implementation consultant. Okay. Application implementation consultant. If you see here, whenever you query any role for any user assignment, ORA should be the starting thing which you need to consider for. ORA is nothing but Oracle. It's a seeded one. Okay, ignore about this custom and all we'll discuss about in the real-time training, but don't bother about that. Just understand the job. What is copy and all we'll talk about later point. I don't want to confuse you now. First understand the concept here. This seeded role ORA starting with. Okay, let's say okay. Now you can see here, these three roles which are assignable, it's not mandatory. You need to enable that and all. Once you assign it, automatically that the privileges will be added. These three roles which are added, yes. Now let's say save and close. This is our user. I'm trying to, because I don't want to depend on any other user. For that reason, I've assigned this roles to our user to perform with this user own, depending on any other user. Okay, let's say completed. Now, once the role is completed, and better to run the LDAP jobs. LDAP jobs is nothing but a view request in your EVS system. How to run that? Under tools, schedule processes. What it's gonna do? If I run this program, how it's gonna affect? LDAP jobs is nothing but a lightweight directory access protocol. Let's go ahead and query this. LDAP jobs here, you can see the purpose synchronizes users roles and role grants. For example, with this user, we have assigned these 3 roles, correct? To get the synchronization, once the users got assigned the roles, to get the grants, if I assign this role, user will get a grant to this. If I assign this role, user will get a grant to this. If I assign this role to the user, you will get some mandate defaults, right? To get that synchronization, you need to run this job. It is not a mandatory job. It is an optional job, but it's a test instance. We are trying to run this as a mandatory. Since R13, it's mandatory. Prior to R13, you need to run it. It's a mandatory. Even though in production real time also, we always try to run this to avoid the issues. Because if you run this, then only the role affected things should be available against that particular user. If I assign the role to this user, if I try to log in with different user and I try to check, that user will not get the privileges. Whatever the user which have assigned the role privileges, go to that user and check that. That is also very, very important. Okay, this is going to be initiated. You can see this. So program is running. No need to wait till, completed. Just try to log out from the user and try to log in with our user and see the privileges, how it is going to be. Because the role importance also, you need to understand that, right? For that reason, I'm particularly in detail, I'm discussing about that. Okay, let's try to sign out. Log in with our user. This is our user, right? Let's say confirm. Let's say, okay. This is our user. Now you can see the privileges. Okay, still it is not affected. So sometimes it's gonna take some time. At least it's gonna take some 2 to 3 minutes. But user will get a privileges. Now I don't see any setup and maintenance, even though we have completed the assignments. So I don't see any other things. Just wait for a moment. Wait for a moment and try to log in with that old user, means whatever the existing user which I've used. Okay, just to see our role assignment are completed properly or not. Just you can go ahead and review and verify that. Again, come here, tools, security console, query your user and just check that. In our case, AQT is our user, right? AQT user is our user. You can see this status is active. And here you can see this role assignment is completed, but still it is not affected with this user. Whenever we try to log in with this user, the role privileges related is still it is not added because it's taking some time to complete that. What you can do, again, come back to schedule processes. Let's see the program status of LDAP program. That's what as I said, right? It's going to take some time to get synchronized. The roles once are assigned to the user, to get that privileges added, it's going to take some time. Still it's showing as a running, no problem. Let's log out. Again, try to log in and we'll see. In our case, let's copy that. Okay. Still it is not added. You can do one thing. Let's try to log in from this browser. Okay, this browser is different. This browser is different. So let's copy the browser name. I mean the URL name. Let's copy this. Log out from this user. Log out and log in from the our user, just to see. Sometimes browser issues also should be there. So that you guys, this will come with experience or practice only. Okay. In lower instance, I mean, this our laptops only, we are having this kind of challenges. But see here, if you see, I logged in from different browser with the same user. I can go ahead and see this. Why this setup and maintenance is added, guys? Any one of you, please, with this user? Any one of you? Why this is added? Try to speak up, guys, please. Okay, so that it will be easy for me to understand how you guys are following me and all. Okay, so try to speak up. So here, why this is added to this user? What role privileges which have added to add this to get this? This setup and maintenance is coming because of we have assigned the role called application implementation consultant role here. The role which I've added. For that reason, this setup and earlier, when we try to log in with this user, we don't see any privileges, right? Now it is showing because of we have completed the role assignment. And also under tools, I don't see these many privileges because of we have assigned the employee role. For that mandate things should be added. And also security console is coming because of this IT security manager is assigned to this user. Where can I check? You can go ahead and go to security console for your user and you can see that AQT. You can see that. What roles here assigned? Here. For that reason only user is having all these privileges, security console, setup and maintenance and all. So that's the importance of the role. Without assigning the role, you cannot go ahead and perform anything. These three roles mandatory you need to assign initial of your project before starting any configuration. Is that clear, guys, or any doubts, please? Try to be proactive, guys, so that maybe try to interact more and rather proactive, interactive more so that it will be easy for you. Okay, right. So let's say done it. This is how you can go ahead and create the user and you can go ahead and assign the roles and also the importance of the role assignment. Next, employee, as I said, there are multiple ways to create a users. That is from one is which I've seen that from the security console and another one is from the manage users. If I wanted to create a manage users, basically manage users activity can be used by the HCM team or HCM page also they can use. The two ways they can go ahead and create it. But let me showcase that. If I wanted to create the user from the security console, no need to define any legal entity or no need to define any business unit. Directly you can go ahead and define it. But when it coming to the manage users, if I wanted to create a user, I need to have a business unit. I need to have a legal entity. Until unless if I don't have, that is something which you can call it as an employee user. Okay. I need to have a legal employer. So far, we have not defined in the system. We are initial phase of training. So here you can see this. As part of this employee user, how to create that and all will create later point of time. Just here, why I'm showcasing here employee user as well as the implementation. There are multiple ways to create the user. That is one way to create from the security console. This is another way to create from the manage users. But if you wanted to create a manage users, I mean the user creation from the manage user task, all these things should be available. At this moment, we cannot go ahead and define it. Yes, there are lot many seeded which are available in the system. You can go ahead and use this and you can go ahead and define that. But I don't want to use any existing data. As I said, we are going to implement the process from the scratch. I don't want to use any seeded ones. I wanted to create a process from the scratch. For that reason, I'm not defining anything, okay, by using the existing one. This is how we can go ahead and create the user. Manage user level, you can go ahead and create it. From security console, you can go ahead and create it. HCM page access, we don't have it. That generally done by the human capital management team. Okay. You guys understand the difference, guys, please? And also, okay, how shall I know who is the employee user as well as who is the implementation user? The user which we have created it. Let's go ahead and query our user. These are some fundamentals, guys. These are some fundamentals and also very, very important to know consultant as a consultant. Okay. So for that reason, I'm particularly bit stressing on this area. Okay. Let's come here. Let's try to take the snipping tool. And let's say done it. And copy the other one. Like the user which they have in underscore. See here, if you see, this is one of the existing user which I've taken. This is the user which I've defined in our system. What difference you guys notice here? This is our user which I've defined it. This is a user which is created in the system. Employee user, always remember employee user always have a employee number, who is a manager, who is the what is a job, it is belongs to which business, he or she belongs to which business unit and all should be available. when you create the user from the manage user task, or else whenever you create the user from the HCM page, this information shall be captured. But when you create the user directly from the security console, this information cannot be captured. This user only used for the configuration purposes. This user can go ahead and use for the configuration purposes as well as the transaction process purposes. This is a difference you need to understand. Okay, in case someone may ask you, can you please check this XY user is employee user as implementation user? You can come here. Wherever you see the associated work information, this is employee user. Wherever you see this as a blank, it is an implementation user. It's a thumb rule, guys. It's thumb rule which we need to understand it. Okay. You guys able to correlate about the employee user as well as the implementation user? All of you, please. Let's say done it. Come back here. And also yesterday we have discussed about multiple ways to navigate it, right? So let's come here. For example, where is our, yeah, this is our. So come to home page. If I wanted to configure the application, either I can go ahead and do that from the FSM page. This is, you can call it as FSM page, setup and maintenance, whatever which is appear here. This is, you can call it as FSM page. And other one is global search also, we have seen that. Example, we have taken some task and we have queried that. Apart from these two, there is another way to do the configuration, that is from the project. Project creation is not mandatory, but in case if you wanted to track through project, yes, that can be achieved. How to define the project in the system? Let's go ahead and see that. This is a home page and FSM page. Let's go ahead and manage implementation project. Three ways you can go ahead and navigate, guys. One is from this area, like FSM. Manage accounting, FSM page, manage accounting calendar. Example, one of the tasks which I'm trying to refer. And this is from your global search. And another one is project. Let's try to complete the project. Then later we can go ahead and see that. Okay, manage implementation project. Let's try to add the project here. So the project name, we are going to use one naming convention, that is AQT user project. Okay. Okay. See, by default, the project should be assigned to this user. In case you wanted to assign to someone else, yes, we have option to do that. Click on search. The user should be available in the system. For example, let's take some XYZ person is a manager for this project. That should be assigned to the project owner, but that user should be available in the system. You can go ahead and query that. You can go ahead and assign it. Let's say 7 close. The project is created. Under this project, what offerings you wanted to implement that? Either you wanted to implement financials, SCM, or else only financials or only SCM. Based on that, we can go ahead and assign the offerings under the project. Here you can see this. Project creation is done. How to define the projects and assigning the projects. Okay, it's taking time to get loaded. Just wait for a moment. See here, ignore about whatever which are available here. It's a test instance, lot many which are available. And click on this overview. Whatever the project assigned to this user, all will be available here. Okay, that will be shown in the top. Okay, and let's click on this project. Under this project, how many offerings you wanted to assign it for? Let's go ahead and do that. Financials. What exactly financial is going to be covered here? Some spelling mistake. See here, configure, manage, all these things. You can see cash management, AP, AR, all these things, subledger accounting and all. Let's say add it. This is how we can go ahead and define the project and assign the offerings to the project. Let me duplicate the another window. Either you wanted to assign any other offerings like SCM, HCM, because for example, let's say this is the user is going to be manager for all the tracks. You can go ahead and assign the all other offerings also, like example, procurement. Procurement. Let's go ahead and assign it. It will be added here. Or else you wanted to remove that, yes, we have that flexibility to remove that. Again, I'm telling you, project creation is not at all going to be mandatory, but as a consultant, we should know that. Let's say here, you want to delete that? Yes. If you wanted to add some other thing, you simply can go ahead and add that. One by one, you can add that. In our case, we are going to do the financials. This person is belongs to finance team, is responsible for financial example. Okay. So just I'm trying to delete that so that you guys will get to know how to delete the offerings from the project also. Fine. And here you can see the status also. You can go ahead and update it here. Not started or in progress. You can go ahead and update it. If you want to update any finished date, yes. You can go ahead and update the tentative finish days. Maybe example, maybe July 31st would be the project end date. They have given the timelines. You need to just update that. This is something, it's going to be for tracking purpose only. This can be used, guys. It's not at all mandatory. If you see here under financials, manage accounting calendar. Accounting calendar example. I can go ahead and navigate from here. This is your FSM page also. Let me showcase that. So yesterday I said, right, 3 ways you can go ahead and navigate. You can navigate from here, manage accounting calendar. This will be navigated to this page. If you navigate this, this will be also navigated to the same page here. But here there are multiple steps to be followed. But end of the day, this and this both will be directed to same page. And another thing is, we have understand how to navigate this activity from the project. This is from the FSM page. And also let's go ahead and try to navigate from the global search. All will be directed to same page only. But I can say ways, if you wanted to travel to one place, multiple ways how you're going to go ahead and reach that, right? Here also one of the area to reach that particular task area. Okay. For example, manage accounting calendar. See, I'm taking one of the task. Okay, see here. If you see, you don't see any difference. Either you've done from FSM page. This is something which I've done from the project. This is something which I've done from the FSM page. FSM page is nothing but this one. Okay. The page is, I mean, it's not closing. It's having some issue with this one. So simple. You can come back again here. This you can call it as this is the FSM page. Okay. This navigation process. These are all the home page. What is home page? What is FSM page? This should be, you should, keep, remember all these things. This is your FSM page. And this is your global search. Global search is nothing but, again, this is also not directing back. It's a form issue. This is a form issue. Okay. You can go ahead and check that. Setup and maintenance again. Setup and maintenance is the page where you can go ahead and use the, here, global search. This is your FSM page. This is your global search. This is your project. Any area you want to do it for, not only for accounting calendar. Let's take manage common options example. Manage common options for payable and procurement. Let's go ahead and select that. And here also select B, right? So here also manage common options and payable. Multiple, see, same activity, you can go ahead and do it from your business unit. Here also it's going to, in case if you have whatever business unit you want to define for common option, you need to select that. Of course, you have not defined anything, just I'm showcasing how it's going to impact if I use this or if I use this. Okay. But end of the day, all three will be navigated to same page. But based on the requirement, based on generally, in general, FSM page would be the commonly used one. 80% can be used and 10% can be global search and 10% should be project. But end of the day, all should be directed to the same page. This is how you need to understand the project. Of course, under project creation, for example, you wanted, for example, if I'm a manager for any project, I will prefer spreadsheet rather going to the system. And for example, if you want to assign this task to some XYZ resource, yes, I can go ahead and assign the task each individual level, person level also I can go ahead and assign it. Who is going to be owner? Or else either doing from here common options. In AP level common options is there. I can go ahead and simply assign to some XYZ resource. Why should I go and spend my time here in the project? But some clients, they particularly request everything they wanted to track in the system. Means under project. That's how the process works. Is that clear, guys? And also the version, the current version, which is 25A. Okay, as I said, here you can see this. The latest version we are going to discuss, this automatically get updated. It's a test instance. So that kind of flexibility we have. Currently also 25A. Recently in the month of February 2nd week, this is migrated to 25A. 25A version only we are going to use for our training. This is how we can go ahead and check the version. What is the current version which you are working on? In case whenever you work in the real time also, you can check from here. Okay, let's simply come to this application. Let's say about this application. This is how we can go ahead and check. This would be the same URL which are going to be used. URL in the sense, the latest URL, whatever which are going to be used as part of our training in day out sessions. The same URL should be shared to your individual also for your practice.